What's up, Cathedral? I'm Jake Langdon.
And I'm Brookwood. Welcome to another episode of Views from the Hill.
Our resident corn mic today is the very renowned Mrs. Jamell.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We are wonderful here.
Great.
It is actually St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, don't you know?
It'll come out afterwards because this is a recording, but I hope you guys all had a great St. Patrick's Day, and we hope you guys are safe out there.
Yeah, big deal here at Cathedral.
If you guys didn't know, we're known as the Irish, the Fighting Irish, actually.
And they mentioned it this morning, Miss Heron did in her prayer, but we were the Fighting Irish before Notre Dame was.
Really?
They stole our logo.
Wait, actually?
Yes.
The more you know.
That's kind of controversial, though.
What about the logo?
One of our students drew it in either the megaphone or the yearbook, but they trademarked it first.
Boo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, fun facts.
All right. And with that, that's all we got.
Have a good day.
That was our Irish fun fact. All right, Mr. Mel, what do you do here at Cathedral?
Well, I teach Spanish, and over the years, I've taught every level from 1 to 6. Right now, I teach 1 and 2. Yeah, there's people who get to Spanish 6. It is kind of surprising. And then I am a student council moderator along with Mr. Frigi and Mr. Canaday. And student council does, in my opinion, almost all the fun things around here, which, this year maybe haven't been as fun, unfortunately, but we try. Like the homecoming, we help with freshman welcome and Lunasa and Winterfest, canned food drive, Irish 500. And then I also, again, this is during the pandemic, we haven't done this, but I help with a Guatemalan exchange where we bring students here from Guatemala, and that's been a really great thing for Cathedral, and it's a great program that these ladies in Guatemala started. So the kids that come are super prepared to fit into our community. And then also I usually every other year or so take a trip to Peru, a mission trip. But of course, you can't also do that. And sometimes I help other teachers do that too, like Mr. Canaday, Mrs. Heron, and Mrs. Lewis have done that as well. And I work a lot of senior retreats.
How many years have you been with Cathedral?
Well, I taught here from 93 to 95 when I was just a young lass. And then I stayed home with my oldest son, Nick. I had him in 95. That year, Shelly Gonzalez and I were coaching girls soccer, and it was the first year. It was an IHSA sport, and we went to state, which was pretty cool, and both of us were pregnant. And then it was kind of cool because both of our kids went here when they were seniors, all through together. Nick.
Soccer.
Yeah, just 1 year. Went to state 1 year.
Did you play soccer?
Yes. Okay. But with her, I was more like just a person that turned papers in and like, hey, go dribble around Mrs. Jamell. So, And then I came back, and this is my 14th year back.
Mm-hmm. So I did a little research from the class of 2021 senior Gabe Jamell, asking him some hard-hitting questions. And I got the bio. I got some insider information.
Okay.
So you grew up in Evansville, is what I've learned,
mm-hmm.
and went to Evansville North, and then the University of Southern Indiana. How did you end up here?
Well, at USI, I met Steve Jamell, my husband, and he's from Indianapolis. He went to Cathedral, class of 85. And, we dated for 5 years, I guess, and then got married right after I graduated. And we moved up here. And he's the one who had, all the Cathedral connections. He was already coaching cross country back then.
Huh.
Yep.
What else? Are there a lot of other family members from his family that went to Cathedral? Or? Yes,
his uncles went to Cathedral, and his mom went to St. Agnes, and I guess that's it, yeah. And his sister and our cousin Leah Marie, yeah. Yep.
So all 3 of your boys went here?
Yes.
Okay.
Nick is the class of 13, Daniel was 18, and Gabe is 21. Daniel was the leprechaun when he was here too. So
We
fun
remember.
fact. Yeah, you do?
I remember.
Yeah. He never got thrown out of a game while in his leprechaun because I thought it could have happened. Sometimes he was pretty intense. All the Jamells are a little intense
That's
when
what
we're
we
watching
need
sports.
out of a
We
leprechaun.
like it. So what made you decide to be a teacher?
Honestly, from the time I was like 12 or 13, my dad always wanted me to be a lawyer. And I do like I memorized the Constitution, like when I was in the amendments, when I was like by myself, because I love that kind of stuff. But from the time I was 12 or 13, I just knew I wanted to be a teacher. And I just secretly kind of was like, yeah, I'll be a lawyer. But I knew I was going to be a teacher. It was in my heart. And I also really just wanted to be a mom. And I thought it would go well with being a mom, to be honest. That was part of my plan, even from a young age. And it has.
What drew you to Cathedral? What made you want to stay? What made you want to send your kids here?
Well, like Steve's family, it's kind of like legendary in their family. They're all so proud of it. And everybody that comes into our family finds this, like, I feel like my daughter-in-law feels like this all the time. Like, oh my gosh. Like, she's super nice about it, but I bet we're super annoying because we're always talking about Cathedral people and that family. Oh, remember? And they're cousins with that other family. And and then his brother, and we never finish the sentence because we all know his brother, right. And, it is super, and I think that's how Steve's family was for me. To me, it was just like the pinnacle, the best place to teach. Like, I really just didn't even know how I could ever get a job there. And then I was teaching at St. Luke in the morning and Washington High School in the afternoon. I was split.
Go Rams.
Yeah, go Rams. And go Continentals. And then through St. Luke, I think I kind of got connected to Cathedral, and Steve was already coaching cross country here, and they needed a Spanish teacher, and I got hired.
What?
Yeah, and I love it. And I just love Cathedral, and I love the family feeling. I know it's like in our brochures and all of that, and so some people get jaded about it, but I actually really believe it. And I think you two know me well enough to know that that's how I see my students. Like, I see them as kind of like my extended nieces and nephews, and I'm going to take care of them. And I feel like people have taken care of me. When I was just telling someone the other day that when I was a young teacher, before Steve and I were married, but we didn't have kids, I was looking up to other moms like Patrice Kabaki, Kathy Castle, Jenny Casey, and I was watching them, like we were maybe coaching their kids, or I was seeing what they were doing while they were working here, Rosie Hauk, and I was like, okay, that's what moms do. Just like I was paying attention and learning from them, and they were so kind and generous to us and always taking care of me and Steve, and I try to do the same thing to the young teachers and to my students. I mean, so I really do believe that family thing. And Cathedral has done so much for my family, like senior retreat, and it's just been so crucial in all three of my boys' lives.
What's it like having your kids go to school while you're teaching?
I mean, for them, it probably stinks sometimes, but I love it. And, and my kids have kind of grown up that way. I was super involved at their grade school at St. Lawrence, and so they were, you can pretty much say go Rams or go Warriors, and you get all the schools, all the Catholic grade schools. That's funny. So I was pretty involved, and they were used to me being around, and I think all three of my boys took it pretty well. Like Gabe comes in my room still, and will say hi to my classes. I mean, he has one class that he likes the best, and it's just funny. So I think they got used to it. I'm sure I've embarrassed them sometimes at assemblies or whatever too.
Do teachers ever tell you about what your kids are doing?
Yes. Which is fine. I'm like, that's what I always told them. I'm like, listen, if you mess up first period, I will know by third period.
So, can we talk more about those mission trips you said? So, Peru and Guatemala.
The Guatemala is just an exchange, but the Peru is a mission trip, which is amazing. Like, it's so sad that we're not going this year. The other day, I texted my boys and I was like, guys, walk outside right now because this feels like exactly what the mornings feel like in Peru. It even smelled like what the mornings smelled like. I don't know why, but it just did. It was something in the air, and they all agreed. It was on Sunday. They all agreed that it felt like that. And Nick went with me when he was coming into his junior year, and then Daniel went after his senior year. Daniel and Gabe went the same year. So it was after Gabe's freshman year and after Daniel's senior year. And it is an American doctor, Tony Lazaro, started a home for sick kids in Peru because if you can imagine, Lima, the capital of Peru, has 11 million or so people in it. But then all the other population of Peru is really spread out. And if you know anything about the geography of Peru, you know the Andes Mountains are there. And I mean, when you're spread out in Peru, you are very isolated from hospitals and places where you can get treatment. So kids have to come stay at this home to go get treatments in Lima. And the families couldn't afford to take them every day, or the mom would come and stay in Lima. They can't afford that. So they stay with Dr. Tony, and it's just like a big extended family there. And it's such a safe, happy place. I think it's in a small town outside of Lima. So once our Cathedral kids get comfortable, like after day one, in groups, they can walk around and go to the little grocery store. You know, it's like it'd be like maybe walking around Greenfield, but you're outside of New York City, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, it's a great experience. And then we do go the last 3 days to Cusco and Machu Picchu, which is always, you know, like it should be on everybody's bucket list if it's not. I've been 4 times, and it's just exceptional and amazing and awesome. All those superlatives. Always, yeah.
How many have you led?
4.
Okay.
Yes. And then sometimes other teachers have done it too. So
when's the next time you...
I'm hoping next year. You know, again, since it's a home for sick kids, there is no way I don't think I would even bother Dr. Tony this year. Like, I'm sure he's been super worried about COVID and because they might be immune compromised. Like some of them, a lot of kids are just getting... The babies and the little kids just have cleft palate and club feet, you know, kind of things that wouldn't be maybe a huge deal in the United States to get fixed, you know, but it's a bigger deal there. So a lot of the small children have that. So probably not immune compromised, but other kids are getting cancer treatment. There's a lot of orthopedic things, burns. So there's no way that you could go there and, you know, potentially... I wonder how they're, you know, I haven't even bothered to email him because I feel like he's probably so busy. But, yeah, I'm hoping to go next year.
What are some of the most memorable moments you've had on those trips? Is there anything that you just think about?
Well, like the first time I went, there's these 2 little boys, and they were just so cute. Gabe was probably... I don't know, 7 or 8. Gabe was probably 8. So, and Gabe's my youngest. And these little guys were like 4 and 6. And I called my husband. I'm like, Steve, do you think we could adopt these 2 little boys? Because sadly, they were, well, in a good way, didn't really have illness, but sadly, they were just completely malnourished. But by the time I met them, they had slowly built them back up and were nourished. So they were pretty healthy kids, and they were gonna have to go live in an orphanage. And I was like, Steve, please, can we adopt them? But there's just so many beautiful moments, and just getting to meet Dr. Tony, I feel like, I know this sounds corny and weird, but I feel like I'm walking with like Mother Teresa when I go to Mass with him. Like, it's like I get to meet a real life saint, you know, and I've met a lot of really great people, like really strong Christians, like, you know, all the mamas that work retreats and Mrs. Wicca and people that just, you know, and that's how it is. But when you're with Dr. Tony, I just feel like he could actually be a real saint someday. And it's just amazing to be with him. And all the kids go to Mass, and some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are in crutches, some of them are running in front of us. And we all sit in Mass together, and that's pretty cool. Just every night we eat dinner together. it's just such a family. Like, I just love every part of it. We got super close last time to one little boy named Jose Daniel. And I just carried him everywhere. I mean, every picture, I'm piggybacking him. Gabe's piggybacking him. And very sad story. We thought he just had a cleft palate, but then so sad. But it turned out that he also had a brain tumor that they hadn't diagnosed. And then we found out like a year after we left that he had passed away. So that was really sad. Yeah. But I was glad to get to know him for a little while too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that sounds like it's really sad, but it's actually, what's going on in those kids' lives is real, and that would be there anyway, right? But since they're here, they're being loved up, and just, it feels like a family there. The mamas and the nurses that work there and the cooks know every single kid in the house, and like, oh, Brooke only will eat one potato. So like if you come home from school, like the older kids come home later, she'll have each plate set, and it would be what Jake wants, what Brooke wants, what, every kid, it's just like amazing.
No, but I do think, when you said he passed away, it seems tragic to you and hard to understand, but I do look back whenever I meet people like that have passed away, just when I think back at their memory, and to bring joy to their lives in those small ways, I feel like it's really important. And the fact that you brought that to his life and the time that you had with him is really special. Yeah,
I agree. We're all thankful to know him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole trip, Peru's a little overwhelming on day one, like the first time I went, I'm going to admit, I was just so scared. And to be responsible for all these girls, and, like that time, I think it was all girls that went back in 2008. And, that was super scary. In the day one, you were out of your comfort zone, and that's good for us too, and I feel like these Cathedral kids just step up and they just do a great job, and they grow a lot.
I went to India for a mission.
Oh, yes.
And it was like...
I still want to do that.
It was really cool. But we definitely had to adjust a lot.
Yes. Like everything's different. Like, just getting a glass of water, big deal.
I remember Annie and we walked 20 minutes to go to this hair salon, and when I got back to America, I was like, we didn't know where we were, and we just went off on our own. Like, that's so scary to think about.
It is.
So what do you guys do on the retreat? When you what do the students do? What do the teachers do?
On the senior retreats?
No, on the mission trip.
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
we've been on the retreat,
but I can't tell all of them.
Yeah.
So every day we just go, and if they need us to, we've cleaned out all the toys or whatever, stuff like that. Or I think what really helps the people that are the permanent volunteers and permanent workers is we take the kids to the park, and kind of gets, just like if you picture your house, when you were kids, if somebody would come take you guys to the park. Seriously, if someone would take Tommy to the park, that was a good day for your mom. So, it's that times 50 kids, right? So and that's why we had so much fun with the little 4-year-old-ish kids. There was a bunch of boys that were 2 or 3 or 4 when we were there, and they just loved the park, and never wanted to leave. So that's what we do. And we just, if they're having dinner, we're having dinner. If they're doing dishes, we're doing dishes, or sweeping, or whatever. It just is a well-run ship. It runs way better than my house does.
If you had to sell someone on Cathedral for an elevator pitch, what would you do?
Well, I do sell Cathedral all the time, because all the kids I know from my kids' grade schools or from my parish or whatever, or in our family, our little cousins, they all have choices. Are they going to go to Ritter or here or Chatard? I want them all to go here, because if I love you and know you already, I want you to go to Cathedral. So I guess my pitch would be is just send them here. We have everything going on academically that you would want, for sure. But But I think a lot of schools have everything going on academically. You know, like I live in North Central's district, and if your kids are in honors classes and things, they can get the academics maybe at a lot of places. But I think what we have here, like the spirit that the kids still have and that family feeling, and that, like, just send your son here and I'm going to take care of Arjun while he's here. I'm going to take care of, whoever while they're here. I think that is something unique and special.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, I came from public school and I didn't know anybody coming in, but now I'm just like, I can't imagine my life without all the teachers and students and everyone I've met.
Yeah, definitely. And even me as an adult, a lot of my closest friends are from Cathedral, and when, good things happen, they were at Nick's wedding. A lot of Cathedral people were at Nick's wedding because Nick loved them and I love them. But also, I mean, there were some people I couldn't even invite, it was so sad. I wanted more. But then also when we're sad and grieving, it's Cathedral people that show up at my door with, here's a casserole or here, so they're with me in all the times. Yeah. With our whole family. Definitely.
I feel like the big part about Cathedral is, like you said, it's more than just academics. So it's getting involved in sports and extracurriculars and the theater and music. We really appeal to a lot of different stuff. So what would you tell someone who's maybe at Cathedral not doing a lot right now, just maybe going to school and going home, to get involved?
I mean, again, this year during COVID, it's just not the same. Like the clubs and things are not, even student council, we kind of just meet by text and Zoom, so that's very disappointing, but it's not going to stay this way forever. And I would just tell people, just sign up for anything. And if you have, we always say this and it's really true, but if you have an idea, like the lumberjack club and the ski club, all of those things are just someone's like, this could be fun to go skiing with some Cathedral kids. This could be fun to go eat pancakes with Cathedral kids. And they do it. And some adult says, sure. Like, yeah. And just do something.
Yeah. I feel like we have everything you could, imagine to make the best out of your high school career and sets you up for success, but you have to be the one to kind of get it started.
You have to kind of put yourself out there a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I really learned that if you want to take the classes you want to take, if you want to do stuff you're interested in, you might not have all your friends in your classes. You might not.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the tough part for a lot of people, is learning to make new friends, learning to, step out of that comfort zone. But for me, doing newspaper and broadcasting, taking those classes without necessarily a lot of friends, and just kind of making friends as I've gone along, has been really important. And I've really enjoyed these two classes a lot, and they've helped develop me into me understand that this is kind of what I want to do as a major and for my life. So I really stress trying to leave your comfort zone a little bit, trying to leave your friend group and open yourself up through taking different classes.
That's a great way I never thought about that, but that actually really is true. And I know Gabe's in ceramics 3 now, and and he just loves ceramics. Like, he's killing it. He's so much better than I am. I know, it makes me realize. You should see my bowls compared to his bowls.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit
and
jealous.
I mean, Mrs. Green, to be honest, even helped me with mine.
So, you're gonna get a failing grade.
Yes, I'm glad I didn't get graded, but I don't think a lot of that's a lot of, maybe you wouldn't think boys like Gabe, that would be the thing, but you just should take the stuff that you really like. And it is hard. You're like, oh, everybody else is in APE, I guess I need to take that, but you only have so much time or you just love Spanish, so keep going in Spanish. Or you love sciences, so we have a lot of electives, take them. And yeah.
I remember freshman year, before school started, the cheerleaders were my only people I knew, and my only friends. We would all text each other what classes do you have, what classes are you going to take, and everything. And now through the years, it's we just take what we want to, and you meet so many people and make so many connections. In your AP class, you might have someone for 2 years in a row that you know, and none of your friends in it, but you become really close with someone that you might not have if you didn't take the classes you wanted to.
Exactly. I feel like when I was in high school, I think I wasn't probably as brave as what you were saying, Jake. And a lot of my friends were in the same honors classes or were on the dance team or what, it was just all those circumstantial kind of friends. Yeah. And they're still some of my friends are still great friends today. But when I went to college, I remember thinking, so I did it way after you, Jake, but I was like, I'm going to take what I like to take. I'm going to listen to what I like to listen to, music-wise. I'm going to dress how I want to dress. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then the people that come and become my friends in college will be my real friend, so because they're seeing the real Kim, getting to know her. And if then that's going to be a real friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Cathedral, I mean, especially with football and mixing the football players and then having to take, I take, IB, AP, honors classes. So having that combination has kind of made me better at talking to people, at making friends, at learning how to get along with other people because, I don't have the same kids on the field every day that I'm practicing with that I'm in the classroom with. So that's a big skill that I've had to learn. I think it's really critical for my life that I wouldn't have done without leaving my comfort zone and taking some of these different classes that I may not necessarily know everyone in right away.
I do think, if you were going to say that, elevator pitch for Cathedral, that is, one of the things that I've seen in my own kids. Now, my son, Nick, is married and has a job, but he worked at the finish line all through high school and college. And I think his experience at St. Lawrence and Cathedral with a, diverse group of people, we talk about diversity and why it's important. I think Nick did, and I'm not talking about just, ethnic diversity. I'm talking about all the kinds of diversity, like you're saying, even just you're from Carmel and you meet a kid from the South Side, there's some things that you actually, even just that far apart, you have some things that, what's your favorite restaurant? I've never heard of that. What's yours? I've never heard of that. So I think Nick did learn how to talk to all kinds of people, and then it really helped him in his job at the finish line because people could come in and he was comfortable with talking to everybody that would be his customer. And so Cathedral being a microcosm of Indianapolis, a pretty good representation of the Indianapolis population, in every way, economically, ethnically, geographically, religion. I mean, we are 75% Catholic, but that just gives you then you go work in Indianapolis and you know how to talk to people that are going to be in your workplace.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone that graduates from Cathedral is kind of like a billboard for my cousin. I'd never even heard of Cathedral, but I just remember growing up going to his games and everything. And
he was in Nick's class. Yeah.
And he would always be like, "You need to go to Cathedral," and I had never even seen it, and I was like, "Mom, I want to go here." And it's weird to think he has a sister, and the amount of people he's still friends with from high school, and then looking at his siblings and their high school, their public schools, and they just didn't go to Cathedral, and they didn't make the same bonds that people at Cathedral make with their friends. And Wyatt, I was over at the Knolls the other day and realized that the older son was friends with Wyatt, and I feel like everywhere you go, someone, you're connected somehow.
You know someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and again, like I said, that's the super annoying part when you're new to a Cathedral family, like my poor daughter-in-law or somebody. She's getting used to it, though. And she knows all the Nick's Cathedral
Oh, the
friends.
Malleus, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones, yeah, okay. Yeah. But it is nice. And it actually is good in your professional life, too. People will recognize that and say, "Oh, yeah, okay, I remember him." And then they'll see you a different way, so I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite part about Cathedral?
Again, I guess I would just say I love my students, love people I work with. Do I love getting up in the morning? I'm never going to be a morning person, so, no.
Maybe at 9 o'clock starts now.
I know, which is so sweet. We have to be here at 8, but I'm not going to complain about being here at 8. That's awesome also. But honestly, I know, again, it sounds so corny, but I think you guys know me well enough, and I think kids at Cathedral know me, that I'm not a billboard. I'm not, a marketing tool. this, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it, but when I do drive up the hill, I'm like, okay, it's so beautiful. And every season it's pretty. Like, I love when the snow is sparkling on the trees. I love the fall. And I love when we get back from spring break, everything's going to be budding. And
when the toilet paper is on, that season's my favorite.
Is that your favorite season? And, everyone is gorgeous. And I'm like, okay, I'm home, I'm comfortable. And so I just love that family feeling. Yeah. We have some good kids here. If you talk to maybe teachers my best friend from high school is a teacher in a public school. And, just when we compare stories, I just kind of feel embarrassed about how, first of all, easy my job is, and the problems that I'm dealing with are just not really real problems. And it gives you some good perspective. Like, we've got it good here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that people don't, I'm not saying that our students don't have all the struggles that are out there in the world. Of course they do. But I think we have a lot of resources, and they have a lot of resources to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like Cathedral can, like you say, it's a second family. So when you come up here, a lot of those struggles can be resolved or at least diminished by the people around you. And you can gain comfort just by being here every day and being in school. And that's why I think the administration stressed so much for us to come back and have 4 days in person, where other schools may be online full-time, online hybrid.
I will say that I am super proud of our administration and the fact that, they had to fight for us to be live. And it was a struggle at first. And I'm really proud that we've been live all year. And it's been so hard on them. Some people say this is hard on teachers, or it's hard. I don't really think that COVID has been as hard on teachers as it was on administration, because just what they have to deal with every day and what they have to face and all the red tape of handling the quarantining, and it just is so hard. And what we had to do to just get open again, I'm really proud. And it was really just their heart, their persistence or whatever that made it happen. And the same with like having live senior retreats. I'm so glad and thankful, truly thankful that we could have those this year.
Yeah. I feel like with how strong the connections are between like students and staff, it's like they can always understand what we're going through, and they kind of see firsthand. Like, we talk to them about if we're having problems here, and they do everything they can to fix it. They want to make you feel as comfortable as they can.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to think if you go to the teacher and ask them for help, they'll be there for you,
They really will, yeah. I think people are pretty understanding, and keep in mind that there's a person behind that student, behind that lanyard, behind that non-uniform shirt, or whatever, but that's a person coming to you. And I do think our teachers do a pretty good job of recognizing that. And, you still have to do what I ask you to do in class, but I'm going to take you where you are, and I'm going to help you get there, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I feel honored. No, this is great. I am proud of you guys for what you're doing. I think this is amazing. I love that we're, improving the broadcasting. I think you guys have taken it a long way, on the CHS Live and this. I think that's great. And like I said, my son Nick has a podcast too, and he does it at his house, and it's a lot to set up the speakers and just get everything ready. And so it's great that you're learning that already. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of you guys.
Hey, shameless promo. New Jake Langdon trading cards coming after spring break.
Oh, okay. I haven't gotten one yet. Do I get one for being here?
No, you got to win. You got to email chslive@gocathedral.com to win.
Oh, Gabe won, didn't he?
Yeah, Gabe won, so you just steal it from him.
Oh, I'll just find his, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, Gabe's going to frame that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Probably we already did, yeah.
You guys didn't take it to Michael's and get it framed yet?
Yes, it's laminated,
right,
though.
I'm excited.
We did the first step.
Mm-hmm. I can come to the ceremony when you guys hang it up.
Okay, yes. We'll see you.
On that note,
all right.
I'm Jake Langdon.
And I'm Brooke Wood.
And you You guys have a great day, Cathedral.
Take it easy, Cathedral.
Go Irish.